So let me just talk about this. And this is the two cards that really came out strongly. So this is a card about travel, relocation, movement. A lot of success is happening for you guys as a result of a relocation, as a result of a new move, as a result of something drastic that you're doing for yourself. The Eight of Wands basically indicates communication that comes very, very swiftly. So you need to be prepared, you need to be ready, and you need to be able to act kind of like at a moment's notice, and you need to not hesitate, okay? I'm sensing for many of you with the Chariot indicates some type of an external success, okay? It's a card about a lot of discipline that is necessary, dealing with a lot of opposition. It's kind of like against all odds, I've made it. So I feel like you have some really good, solid career success that is coming through for you. And yet you're still grappling with this decision. Am I good enough? Is this something that I really, really want? When externally, confirmation is there, right there for you. Externally, it is something that you're good at. It is something that you will excel in. And so they're telling you, don't straddle the fence. Don't be indecisive. Don't overthink. Don't overanalyze. Just go with it, okay? Sometime for this month, you are going to be called upon. And I feel, this is communication here. You are going to be called upon where you're like presenting something, I feel like, to a big group of people. It's in a very professional, public type of a way. And there might be other people, they're kind of like doubting your ideas, questioning you, and they might do it in a way that is very abrupt. And you need to be very fast on your toes. You need to put your thinking cap on to be able to navigate this energy, sounding very firm and very sure, but at the same time, not sounding callous and, I want to say like closed-minded. Does that make sense? So it's a very, very fine line. And I feel like, as a very extreme sign, you do see things in binary, and it would be really important for you to somehow kind of like straddle that middle ground, be very subtle, communicate in a way where you get your point across, but don't pick sides, okay? I do feel an element of office politics playing into this, but I don't feel the people are devious or difficult. I just feel like they're coming to you and they're like, here's a problem. What is your solution? Or what is your suggestion? And err on the side of like that middle ground. Don't do anything too extreme. So the reason why I mentioned, extremes is because we have here two horses, right? And it's like black or white. Yes or no. And I feel like if you take one route, you can't backtrack later. And then at the same time, if you're so adamantly, like fighting for, advocating for a specific course of action, you can't really go back and redo as easily. So it's going to be, a lot of sunk cost into something that might not pan out. So you want to err on the side of safety by aiming for that middle ground, okay? Be more like a Libra, aim for that middle ground, okay? So that's coming through, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of communication overall, a lot of opportunities for travel. I feel like it happens very, very, very last minute. Like you need to just, they give you like, they give you a call, they give you an email, and 2 hours, you're going to need to be ready to go. And I feel like it's exciting, but it can also be very stressful. I feel like a lot of you crave excitement, and you're very buoyant, and you like to explore, and you're really on the go. But I feel like, especially if you're traveling across different time zones, especially if your practical affairs are not in order. I mentioned for the past 2 months, I felt that energy where you needed to take care of practical things. So that means, doing laundry on time, so you have, clothes to travel. Washing the dishes because you might be called out at, for to be away for 3 days. And if the dishes pile up, the house is going to be a mess, right? And when you get back, you might have mice, you might have cockroaches, whatever the situation is. But you get my point. It basically means that you have to take care of things. Whenever you find a little bit of downtime, take care of something that you need to take care of. Don't assume that there's going to be time to do it later tonight, later this week. I don't feel that's going to bode well for you. Okay, so take care of things. Do a little bit more management when it comes to your schedule, timing, taking care of things. It's like time. I feel like there is a time crunch, but there doesn't need to be a time crunch if you handle things in an orderly fashion. So I feel like, yes, the opportunities are coming through. It's very fast. You're going to say yes to them. You're going to be so delighted, and I feel like it's going to work out well. But it is at the same time a little bit stressful, okay? And it is stressful. Stressful for your sleep schedule, for your circadian rhythm, for overall your emotional well-being. But I feel like you're going to see a lot of cool things, and you're going to have a lot of fun, and there's just a lot of just expansive energy, okay? So new opportunities are coming through for this month. First of all, we have here a job, and this is good. We have here a job offer that's going to be on the table for you. This is something you've thought about for a really long time. And if you look at this card, and actually, you know what? I'm curious, so I'm just going to pull out another card, okay? And I want to see if there is room to grow, okay? Okay. So we have a job offer, and when it shows up here as the Page of Cups rather than an Ace of Pentacles, I'm sorry, a Page of Pentacles rather than an Ace of Pentacles, it basically means a job that is going to be kind of like underpaying you, or you might have to do some additional internship. You have to do an additional like a probationary period before they trust you with responsibilities, and with added responsibilities, your pay will increase, right? And so this is something you've been thinking about for a really long time, because I feel like you go back and forth in your head, like back and forth. Do I do it? It pays so little. And then, if I do it, everything's going to be fine, but do I make enough to be able to support myself? So you've been mulling over this back and forth for a really long time, but it is something that you've had on the back of your mind for quite some time, and you're not really sure whether or not so rather than doing it, applying for it, or saying yes to it, it's always just been in the back of your mind. You ruminate over it, you think over it, but you're not really sure, okay? So it's coming in the picture for you in July. And I feel with this High Priestess card in the reverse position, the High Priestess is, I usually think of it as some type of, when we look at this card overall, it's almost telling me like there is some type of an ancestral, this is like a spiritual person that has passed on. And I feel like this is something, if you are somebody that prays to a specific entity, I feel like this is the entity giving you a response, okay? And so I do feel overall, this is something you've been thinking about for a really, really long time. And it's there for a reason. You keep thinking about it, but you don't do anything about it. And it's there for a reason, and now it's coming in, and you're confronted with this decision. And you're just like, but on the one hand, the job I have pays really good, and I want to stay at that job. And if I move and get this job, I'm going to have to start from the bottom. I'm going to have to be an apprentice. I'm going to have to like work at the bottom of the totem pole and work my way up. And if it's even possible for me to work my way up. So I feel as if this is a job overall that involves a lot of paperwork, a lot of like tedious, detail-oriented types of work. And that's not exciting for you, Aquarius. And you know that. You know it's going to be challenging. You know it's going to be hard. You're not like disillusioned about, how difficult it's going to be. But I feel like you keep mulling over it because a big part of you knows it's going to be really fun. It knows it's going to be really rewarding, okay? And so I feel like that's that element is coming through. And while I was pulling out this card, another thing that I'm getting here is I feel like some of you are dealing with this person. This is a person. Page of Pentacles, Earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. A big part of you, they're making an offer to you, right? And they're very solid. It's a very solid offer. And with this card showing up in the reverse position, it basically means there are things about them that you don't trust issues. And so you want to think about, are the trust issues based on something that they have done? Or is it based on, trust issues that you are carrying in from the past, from past relationships where you've been hurt, where you've been lied to? So I feel like there is an element here about a relationship that might not meet your expectations. So you really want to figure out, is there room to grow? Are we going to be able to communicate well? Can we work together as a team? Are they stable enough? Are they worthy of my, investment, emotional investment? And whether or not this is going to work long term. So I feel like if this is a person, there's a lot of chemistry here. This is a card overall about, physical attraction, sexual chemistry. It's a really good card when it's good, but when it's bad, it can create a situation where, power struggles. One person is being too controlling and the other person won't acquiesce, won't give in, won't settle. So I feel like there is a lot of things here that you need to kind of reassess when it comes to your relationships, okay? And all the while, especially if you're trying to decide, do I stick with this person or do I go somewhere else and not have that person in my life, but figure out a career path for myself. And the question here is that maybe there's a way for you to do both. So going back to that message, okay? So there are a lot of crossroads that are kind of like hitting you left and right. There are a lot of decisions that you're making here, Aquarius. And they're not bad decisions, but I feel like you need to make a decisions rather than sitting and mulling things over, sitting still, mulling things over, not making a move, and then the opportunities pass you by, okay? And then for many of you, I feel like there's a relationship blossoming, a relationship. You might be dealing with an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, or a fire sign, Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo. There's a relationship. So that's their sun, moon, or rising, okay? There's a relationship blossoming. And you're trying to keep the relationship. And you're trying to maintain the status quo because things are going well, right? And you're just like, I'm going to stick with it a little bit further just to see how things are going to work out. And I also feel like you've also invested a lot of time in it. It's really hard for you to walk away at this point, even though new opportunities are calling. New work is on the horizon, new opportunities for advancement, career, and just, building things from the ground up, okay? Like starting over, building things from the ground up. And you're not a sign that shies away from new adventures, but I feel like emotionally you're linked up with another person. The person could be all, great and good, but I feel like there's control elements, there's stubbornness somewhere in this. It could be you or them or both. Two people are not able to compromise, is what I'm sensing, okay? Even though you like the person, even though there's strong chemistry, there's really strong chemistry, but it doesn't feel to me like it's entirely stable. It doesn't feel completely stable, not with this devil card. And so you're mulling things over in your mind and you're just like, and there's this element here about the past coming back to haunt us. That's what it feels like to me. And so it's like, I've made this decision before where I've had to forego love for work, or where I had to, forego work for love, and I ended up empty-handed. So I don't want a repeat. So there's a lot of fear here, fear of the past repeating, fear that you're making the wrong decision, fear that you're gonna pick one road, have that, but then lose the other option. And Aquarius, I feel like the major message here for you is you need new things, okay? You need to branch out. And if you're having doubts, it's because something is not enough for you. You need more out of life. And when you take these opportunities to really get more out of life, you're going to have a lot of success, external success, emotional success as well, emotional satisfaction. Whereas if you keep yourself stuck, you can build, of course, but you're going to be waiting for the harvest. You're going to be working and building for other people rather than building for yourself, okay? So big decisions to be had here. It's going to apply in different arenas of life for different Aquarians watching this. But I feel relationships. I feel relocation in the cards for you.